Good morning, students. Today we will revise the chapter 2nd of your economics book, that is people as resource. Okay, so how people are used as resource, or what is the meaning of resource, that we will discuss firstly. Then we will discuss that how human can be make as resources and how development can be done. So firstly, human resources. As people who are part of the workforce are called human resource. Workforce means people, those who are willing to do work and they are working at the given wage rate. By contributing in productivity means their contribution is there in the production, and the human resource plays significant role in the economy of a country, no doubt. As we have an example of Japan, then Japan is not having any natural resources, and on the basis of human resource, Japan is now a developed country. Okay, any other resources become useful only because of the input by the human resources. If we have natural resources but we don't know that how to use them properly, then these resources are not useful. So other resources will become useful only when we have the developed human resources. Okay, investment in human capital yield a return like investment in other resources. Now what is investment? Investment means you are studying. Okay, means your parents are investing on you for your education. By getting good education, in future someone will become doctor, engineer, and you will contribute yourself in the economy productivity, in the country productivity. Then you are human resource. Means human resource is only useful when they are educated, trained. Means if your parents do not invest money on your education, then in future you will not be able to yourself to contribute in total production of the country. So investment in human capital yield a return like investment in other resources. So if your parents are investing on you, then in future you will give the return. Investment in human capital is done through education. Education, as I have given you example, training and healthcare. So if a person is educated but he is not healthy, then education become nonsense, because he is educated but if he is not healthy, then he cannot do any work. So only education do not make any sense. With the education he must be healthy also. A person with better education usually earn better than an uneducated person, obviously. Moreover, a healthy person is more productive. So no doubt, if a person is uneducated and a person is educated, then educated person will earn more money than uneducated, or he will contribute more in the productivity of a country than uneducated person. But healthy person is more productive. It means if person is not healthy, he is not able to do some physically work properly, then he will not be able to contribute in the production. Okay, so health is also play a very important role in human resource. Now economic activity. Okay, so economic activity, how production take place by economic activity. So there are mainly three economic activity in Indian economy. First is primary activity, then secondary activity, then tertiary activity. Okay, so we will discuss these three activity in detail. Primary activity means agriculture sector, in which primary activities are involved, like agriculture, fishing, mining, all these are primary activity. Then secondary activity, as we get minerals as a natural resource by primary activity from primary sector, but these are manufacturing in secondary sector. Okay, so secondary activities include manufacturing of goods, like we get sugar cane from primary sector, agriculture sector, but sugar is converted into sugar cane is converted into sugar in secondary activity. Okay, taking of cotton from primary activity, as cotton is grown in primary sector, but manufacturing of cloth is done in secondary activity. Okay, tertiary activity, economic activity, we support the primary and secondary activity. As in primary activity there is production, secondary activity manufacturing of goods take place. So the tertiary sector support the primary and secondary sector. How? If there is production in primary and secondary sector, but to take this production we need transportation. So tertiary sector, or we can say other name is service sector, provide the transportation facility. Okay, so banking, transport, finance, different type of services come under tertiary activities. Okay, so primary activity, you can see in the picture the farmer is working in field, that is in primary activity. Economic activity which are related to agriculture, poultry, farming, fishery, horticulture, animal husbandry, mining, all these are primary activity. Okay, so natural resource, mainly if in Rajasthan there are many natural resources like Makrana marble is very famous all over the world, that is natural resource. Okay, and other like in Khetadi there is some minerals, and tungsten is found in Degana, that is also very famous, and it is exported to other state also. So these natural resources are included in primary sector. Okay, so all these activity like in Degana, tungsten is extracting of tungsten from the earth is included in primary activity. Okay, then secondary, you can see the industry is included in secondary activity, goods are manufacturing. Okay, then tertiary sector, as we talked, that transportation, communication, health, education, all these are service sector. So non-market activities, now came the market and non-market activities. When some product or service is produced for self-consumption, it is non-market activity, but when production is consumed for the sale, then it is market activity. Okay, the work of a housewife is non-market activity, obviously, because she do the work whole day, but she will not be pay any money for the household work. So that is non-marketing activity, and household work done by a housewife is also not counted in counting of national income of a country, because that is, if a teacher, for example, teacher is teaching to her children, that is also not included in market activity, that is also non-market activity. Okay, then quality of population, quality, how we can generate the quality of population, means quality means person are educated, literacy rate, health. With educated they must be healthy, skill, by giving them training skill can be developed. So quality of population become by giving good education, health, training. Illiterate and unhealthy population can be liability for the economy. Liability means there are two terms, asset and liability. Assets means we are working and contributing in the country production, then we are asset for the country. But liability means we are not contributing anything in the country production, but in fact if we are unhealthy, then there is expenditure on our health. Okay, we are uneducated, we cannot work, we are not healthy, so we cannot work. It means there is expenditure on us, we are consuming goods, but we are not contributing anything, so we are liability for the economy. Okay, it means liability means we are not giving anything in the economy, GDP contribution, or we can say in the production, but we are consuming goods. Literate and healthy population can be made into an asset for the economy. As asset, I told you, if we are contributing, then we are asset, means like wealth. Literate and healthy population contribute towards GDP of a country. Obviously, if a person is educated and with good education he is also healthy, then only he will be able to contribute in the country GDP. Now education. So by giving good education, we can enhance the literacy level and skill level of a person. Obviously, it also help in enriching the culture of the society. Means presence of educated person in the society indirectly benefit the illiterate person as well. There are two type of person in the society. One is educated, one is uneducated, means literate and illiterate. So person is literate definitely contribute indirectly in the society. Means if there is some illegal work in the society, then educated person must be aware about that, and he will take stand or action for that. So obviously indirectly that stand will benefit all the people that living in the society. Then government has taken various steps to spread education. No doubt there are many effort that is done by the government to spread the education, as RTE, Right to Education Act, that was implemented by the government, and also Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, that in that means free education is given to the children up to 8th class. Okay, so government strive to provide universal access to education. It also make various plans to increase the retention of the students. Special emphasis is given in girls education. Also there are separate plan for the girls education also. Means girls are providing many type of facility if they are going to school, like if they good academic record, they are giving scooty by the government, they are awarded with the good prize with cash also. Now these pictures show the data of higher education enrollment and faculty in the India. In 1950, the difference you can see in 1950, 1998 and 99, as there were 750 number of colleges in 1950. Now in 99 to 2000, it is 11,089, and number of student also increase. In 1950 it was only 2,63,000. Now it is 7 crore 4,17,000. Okay, number of teachers, it was only 24,000 in 1950-51. Now it is 3,42,000. Okay, so this table shows about the number of college university as increasing. And in 1920 data we see, then there is multiple increase in number of colleges, universities, and also students. Then as I told you that tell you that Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan was started by the government. So it was started mainly for the children, that they should get education. If anybody is not able, any family is not able to send his or children to the school, then according to this Abhiyan, government will give free education to the children. So in this Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, open new school in areas which do not have them, and to expand existing school infrastructure and maintenance. जो इसके प्रेजेंट गोल है उसमें ये इंक्लूड किया गया कि जो स्कूल है, जिन एरिया में स्कूल नहीं है वहाँ पे नए स्कूल खोले जाएंगे, और जो स्कूल एग्जिस्टिंग है, चल रहे हैं, उनमें जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फैसिलिटी वगैरह डाउन है, दैट शुड बी इम्प्रूव्ड. देन एड्रेस इनएडिक्वेट टीचर numbers and provide training and development for existing teacher. तो जो टीचर है उनके लिए भी ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम वगैरह प्रोवाइड करवाए जाएंगे. प्रोवाइड क्वालिटी एलिमेंट्री एजुकेशन इंक्लूडिंग लाइफ स्किल विद स्पेशल फोकस ऑन द एजुकेशन of the girls, and special focus was on the girl education with special need as well as computer education. Then now as we talk that about the education and people as a resource, people can be used as a resource or as a factor of production only if they are educated, they are healthy. Now the question came that in our India unemployment problem is also exists. So when a person is actively seeking a job but is unable to get employed, he is called unemployed. unemployed means the person want to do work, he is willing to do work, but he is not able to get a job, then he is unemployed. If a person is getting job but he don't want to job, then that is not included in unemployed. Okay, so people in the working age, as working age is 15 to 59 years, only can be termed unemployed if any one of them is without a gainful employment. Additionally, if a person voluntarily does not want to work, he cannot be termed as unemployment. As I told you, voluntary means अगर वो अपनी इच्छा से काम नहीं कर रहा है, then that is not employed, means that person will not be included in unemployment. Okay, so person who want to work at the given wage rate but he is not able to work, that is called unemployment. Now in unemployment we include many types like seasonal, hidden, disguised, okay, structural unemployment. So this type of unemployment is more prevalent in rural areas. Seasonal means जैसे फार्मिंग है उसमें लोग कुछ ही टाइम के लिए काम मिलता है, अदरवाइज दे फ्री रहते हैं, तो दैट इज कॉल्ड सीजनल अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट. मीन्स फॉर 2-3 months they get work, but after season they don't have any work. Okay, so that is the example of agriculture. In agriculture, seasonal unemployment can be seen. Then hidden unemployment, it is also called disguised unemployment. This type of unemployment is more in rural areas. Okay, so let's take an example. Family with 8 members is working. All of them are working in their farm, but the size of the farm is small. So 5% can also manage that farm, but they all are working. So 3% are extra that they are contributing there. But if they go outside from their own farm, that they can earn extra money also. So they 3%, it seems that they are working in their field, but actually they are not working because their contribution to the total output is 0. It means their efficiency, whatever they can do work, their efficiency is 0 in the total production. So their potential could have given better result if utilized elsewhere. अगर उनको और कहीं लगाया जाता है तो उनकी जो potential है, मतलब उनकी जो capacity है, उसको हम full utilize कर सकते हैं. Similar situation can also be seen in some family-owned shops. कईयों की जिनकी shops होती है खुद की, या खुद का छोटा business होता है, उसमें भी हम देखते हैं. Not only in agriculture, in secondary sector also this type of unemployment can be seen hidden. This is also called disguised unemployment. Then effects of unemployment. Unemployment can be emotionally draining on the unemployed person. Emotionally means emotionally उस person को वो खाली कर देती है, सुखा देती है. It can be a financially and emotionally drain on his family member also. उसका family members पे भी effect पड़ता है, because unemployed है person तो financially उनकी problem बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाती है. Then a large number of unemployed people is ultimately liability for the society. Obviously there are large number of people and they are not working, so they are consuming, because without consumption a person cannot survive. Okay, so if they are only consuming, then they are liability for the society. High rate of unemployment can also increase the crime rate. Obviously we can see that if people are more employed in the state, in India, state can be seen where the people are more employed, there are more crime, like Bihar, UP, there are more crime because there is more population and more people are unemployed. Okay, so students, watch the video and also read from your book, revise the chapter fully for your post midterm 1. Okay, if you have any doubt, any query, you are free to ask. Thank you.